All right then. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to build something like a unique UI for a button, right? Like a space, like it's like a glowing, like a button is in a space, right? So how we can create this animation particles and how to create this glowing effect. All those things are we are going to learn completely from the ground, and we are going to build it by using plain HTML CSS. That's it, right? So for that, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new project folder, and I'm going to name this as UI elements. Let me open this project in a new terminal, and let me open it in the Visual Studio Code. There we go. Let me bring it on the side. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new project folder here called our first UI element, right? So first UI. So inside this project folder, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create two different separate files. One which is going to be the index.html, and another one which is going to be assets. Inside the assets, I'm going to create that new file called for JavaScript, and inside the assets new folder for CSS, and inside the CSS I'm going to create a new file called styles.css. This is the proper folder structure that we have to follow for every UI element project so far which we are going to create in this throughout this course, right? So let's write some basic styles over here as star, margin which is going to be 0, and padding which is going to be 0, and box sizing which is going to be the border box. So the reason why we are keeping this is because we are going to remove some of the unwanted spaces throughout our body tag, and we're gonna fix the layout as a border box, because if you are fixing this as a border box, so you can access the width and height property of each and every single element inside that body tag. Then the body tag, I'm going to fix the width of the body should be viewport width, and height as the viewport height, which means it should access the 100% screen height. Whatever the screen that browser it's been loaded, the website it's been loaded, it should access the complete screen width and height, the body tag, right? Then we can make that entire website as a responsive because it's accessing the screen width and height. Then display, flex, align items center, justify content in the center, and then background color which is going to be hash 282828. The reason why we are using is flex, align, and center everything, because I need to keep the entire content of the body should be in the center of the screen, both horizontally and vertically. So let's go ahead and bring this. Let's bring the boilerplate code for your index.html, and let's link this over here /assets css styles.css. And I'm just, for the time being, I'm just going to say hi there, save it, and I need to run it somewhere in our localhost server. So in order to run this in a localhost server, you just need to install this live server extension. So please go ahead and install this live server extension, this one, live server. So that helps you to run your website in a local environment, because we are not using any frameworks. It's just a plain HTML and CSS. So we need a development server in order to check our entire website. So let me run, right click it, and then open it with the live server. There we go. So far it's saying us hi there. We have our entire content in the center. So for this particular layout, first what we have to do is we have to bring our HTML skeleton, right? So what are the things that we need? Basically, this entire structure is a button, right? Its entire structure is a button. Then we have a very strong text in the center. Then we having the star animations, right? So for that particular thing, we need to create a container to do those animation stuffs. Then we have this glow effect throughout this button. So we have that, we need to bring that one also. So first, let's bring the button. So button, which the button is going to be the type of button itself, because for a button you have two different types, button and submit and reset. Sorry, three different. A submit button, basically we use it in the form HTML forms, because once you click that button, the entire form will submit the data into your it calls the server actions to push your entire data into your database, right? So that the define the buttons type properly, then class. For this, I'm gonna give the class name as the button itself, btn. Then I need to bring that text. So for that, I'm going to use the strong space. Then I need to bring that container stars. So container stars. That's the class. Keep this ID itself. Then I need the stars. So hash stars. Okay, that's one division. And which is another one, which is going to be your glow. Inside the glow, I'm going to bring the circle. Two different circles, because if you check it out over here, we have two different glow animations over there, right? So the reason why we are using the strong tag, because that holds the text, a strong text. And then the hash container stars and stars, that gives that gives a moving stars background animations, and the glow circle, which gives you the glow light effect. So these are the skeleton that we needed for our particular project. So this is how it looks so far, right? Then let's go ahead and start doing the basic button styling, right? So let's go here, dot btn, and display, which is going to be flex, and let's bring the justify content in the center and the align items also in the both in the center location, because the entire text needs to be in the center. Then the position, which is needs to be relative, because based on this button only we're going to have some absolute containers and everything. So this button needs to be the relative position, and then only you can keep the absolute containers around that button, otherwise you can't keep it. Then I'm going to fix the button width 13 rem, and height, which is going to be 3 rem. So basically you need to understand what is this rem. If you search for rem in css, that is the unit of measurements. See, stands for root em. Okay, so there are different types of units that they can use it in the css. So you just have to go through it and understand what is the purpose of each and everything, right? So the points, if you are going for pixels for this particular size, if I'm going for the pixels, if I need to do it in the pixels, I need to give 84 pixels and something like that, like a huge number. But if I'm going for the rem points, then I just need to mention the number, it's a lower size, because one point is equal to 16 pixels, something like that. Okay, so you just have to understand the css units. Go ahead and understand what are the different units over here. Okay, then right after here, border radius, which is going to be 5 rem. All right, now you can see we have a button field over there. Then we have the border, which is I'm going to use the double. Then I'm going to fix the size 4 pixels. Then the border needs to be a transparent. Then I'm going to bring the cursor as a pointer, because when I move my cursor over there, it needs to be like this. Then overflow needs to be hidden. Anything which is coming from inside this button should not overflow outside of the button. Then the transitions, which is going to be 0.5 seconds, the movement speeds and everything, color changes, everything. Then the background size, which is going to be 300 percentage. Okay, then what I need to do is I need to use the background image. Here I need to specify the linear gradient, because for the glow effect, right? You can see we have that glow effect right inside here. You can see that glow effect. So for that particular glow effect, I'm going to use the linear gradient hash 212121 comma hash 212121. Then comma, I'm going to bring one more linear gradient here. I'm gonna give the degree, the angle, how much angle it needs to rotate. So here I'm just going to say 137 dot 48 degree, then hash ffdb3b. That particular color needs to be 10 percentage. Then hash fe53bb, that needs to be 45 percentage. Then hash 8f51ea, that needs to be 67 percentage. Then hash 0044ff, that needs to be 87 percentage. Save it. Right, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say background origin, which is going to be the border box. So that's on the border box only we need to load that entire linear gradient color. Then the background clip, which is going to be content box, then border box. Clip the content in the, so this dual background with the background clip and the content box for the border box, basically it creates a border with a glow effect with this particular linear gradient. Okay, then I'm just going to say backdrop filter blur 1 rem. Then I need to add the animation gradient underscore 301, something like that. Give a very specific name as you wish. Then ease, and the animation needs to be run infinite time. This particular animation we haven't created it, we need to create it later sometimes. You can see currently we have that effects over here, the glow effect based on the color which we have. These two colors have been loaded, so these colors needs to change constantly based on the animations, right? We don't have that animations, that's the reason it is being static over here. So right after here, next what I need to do is I need to add the styles for the text. So for the strong, I need to keep the Z index. It needs to be always on the top of the every single layer. So bring it. Then the font family. Let's use, what's the default style? Let's use the system styles. Whatever the system style it is, let it access the system style itself. Then font size 12 pixels. Then letter spacing, which is going to be 5 pixels, and then the text color, which is going to be white color. Then text shadow should be 0 pixels, 0 pixels, 4 pixels, color should be white, just like that. Okay, so now we have some strong text with some shadow effects as well as. Then I need to start writing the styles for your stars containers. So for that stars containers, I'm going to access this specific ID, which is going to be hash, because we are accessing the ID, so you need to use the hash operator. So this position needs to be absolute position. Since the container stars which is inside the button, we need to keep this button as a relative. So that is what we did over here, right? If you're not making this as a relative position, this absolute container will be automatically point out to your body tag. It will not wrap around your button. So that's the reason we are using the position relative for your button. Then I need to bring this z index. Z index needs to be -1. Okay, then with, we are just arranging the layer based on the z index. We are just arranging the layers, which container needs to be top, which container needs to be on the back and front. We are just arranging the layers over here. It should access the 100% width and height of its parent element, which is your button. Then overflow needs to be hidden. Then border radius, which in case it's going to be 5 or em. Then I'm just going to say backdrop filter, which is going to be the blur 1 or em. Now you can see a small glow effect over there, right? Based on the blur effect, this it's the coloring, the color whatever it's having over here, it's just shattered and it's just spread out inside that container. Then I'm going to bring the transition, which is going to be 0.5 seconds. Okay. Then for the stars, make sure there is no spelling mistakes. Stars. Oh, okay. Stars, spelling wrong. Stars. For this stars, I'm just going to say position, relative position, then width, which is going to be 200 rem, and height, which is going to be 200 rem. Then the background, which is going to be transparent. Okay. Then hash stars colon before. So we are going to target the pseudo elements of the star element before and after. Hash stars after. So for that, I'm going to fix the content as an empty content. I don't want to display anything. And then the position of that needs to be absolute. Then the background image. Using this, I'm going to bring the radial gradient effect, which is going to be the white color. Needs to be 1 pixels. Then transparent, another one, which is going to be the transparent, and that is going to be the 1%. Then the background size, which is going to be 50 pixels, then 50 pixels. Okay, currently you can't see this, but if you want to check it out, how does it looks, inspect the elements, get into the stars, and you can see the pseudo elements over here. Okay, perfect. Then now I need to fix the position where I need to, because if you check it out, when you are checking the pseudo elements of the before and after, it was in the right side corner over here. So we need to fix the before and after elements positions. So stars colon before, keep it on the top 0%, and left side I need to bring it minus 50%. Then width, which is going to be 170% of the parent width, and height needs to be 500%. So these things are just the trial and error based on the animation stuffs and everything. You just have to work it out just by adjusting these percentage levels by yourself. Linear, and it should be the infinite. Then the opacity of this level needs to be 0.5%. Right? You can see those, a mild star effect over there. Right? Then hash stars after, top minus 10 rem, because we need to bring one more layer over here. Then left needs to be minus 100%. Width needs to be 100%. Height needs to be 100%. Then animation, which is going to be anim star rotate 90 seconds, linear, infinite. Okay, now we have those things, right? So next, what I need to do is we need to add the animations for your gradient and for your anim star and for your anim star rotate. So for that, I'm going to add the animations. So for the animations, first animation, what is the animation which we created, which is going to be your gradient 301. I need to create a keyframe. So at keyframes, that's the keyframe which you are going to create. At 0%, we are going to do the animation stuffs for 0%, 50%, and at the 100%. These are the three different stages, the animation stuff. What are the different types of animations that we need to perform? On the 0%, the background position, which is going to be 0%, then 50%. Now on the 50%, I need to do the same stuff. Background position needs to be 100%, then 50%. Then at the 100%, the background position, which is going to be again 0%, then 50%. Okay. Oops, is spelling wrong. Now you can see the color changes are happening, right? You can see the color changes are happening based on the gradient effects which we defined over there. The color changes are happening, and the color changes are happening very smoothly. The positions of the color placements are happening perfectly. Then I need to do the same animation stuff for this anim star. So add keyframes, paste it. So for this, I just need to, we are adjusting the positions, right? Because these are the absolute positions. So I need to use the from operator, from transform, translate y, keep it 0, then to transform, translate y into minus 135 REM. Okay, now you can see the stars are moving from bottom to top. Now I need to do the same stuff. I need to rotate this, then it looks like the animations are keep on rotating. So at keyframes, from transform, rotate 360-degree. Let's rotate it 360-degree. Then to transform, rotate 0-degree. Okay, so yeah, now you can see animation, it's happening, but it's happening too slow. Maybe because of this 90 seconds, I think so. Keep this 3 seconds. See, that is something is running inside. You can see that running too fast. Let's keep it as 20. Six seconds. See, something is running inside, but we can't see it. Okay, let's keep it as 90 seconds itself. Did we make any mistakes? Let's check this out. Oh my goodness, this is the mistake. The position, it should be REM. Yep, look at that. Right, so now we can see those animation stuffs over here, which is randomly moving here and there. All right, so these positions are literally important because we should not make any mistakes over here. So don't make any mistakes when you're typing it. All right, so now we finished that animations. So the next step, which is going to be your glowing circles, we need to glow that circles. So let's target this glow. Hash glow, position needs to be absolute, display needs to be flex, and width needs to be 12 or em, and z index needs to be -1. -1. Then for this, inside that we have this circle class. Width needs to be 100%, height needs to be 30 pixels. Filter, we need to blur the look of that, which is going to be 2 or em. Then animation, which is going to be a pulse animation, pulse hyphen 301, 4 seconds, infinite time, right? Then we have two different circle divisions inside in it. So let's target that circle. We need to access the nth of type. Nth of type, access the first one. I'm gonna change the background, which is going to be RGBA 254 83 186 0.636. Then let me copy this. You can see that animation. You can see the glowing circle inside over here. See, this is going to be the second one, and for this I'm just going to say RGBA 142 81, then 234 0.704. Save it. Now you have that mild glowing effect inside, right? So let's go ahead and have that pulse animation effects for that. For that, copy this, and right after here at keyframes, pulse, open it. We need to give three different percentage, so 0% and keep it as 70% and 100%. Now inside the 0%, what I'm going to do is transform scale, which is going to be 0.75, then box shadow, which is going to be 0 0 0 0, top, left, right, and bottom, and RGBA, which is going to be 0 0 0 0.7, which is a black color, right? That's the position. Then I'm going to copy for the sound. This is going to transform scale level, which is going to be 100%. Then the box shadow needs to be 0 0 0 10 pixels, RGBA 0 0 0 0 0. Then for 700% transform, scale level needs to be again 0.75 itself. Then box shadow needs to be 0 0 0 0 RGBA 0 0 0 0 0. Save it. Okay. Now this is pretty much done, and next all we have to do is to go ahead and do that one final step, which is going to be the hover effects, hover and active effects. So for doing that hover and active effects, right before this animations, which is going to be .btn, for that button I'm going to write the hover effect, transform scale, which is going to be 1.1. So now that is going to bring the button a little bit bigger, something like that. Then .button colon hover. Inside that I'm going to have this container stars. Container stars. Open it. Z index needs to be the top position, and the background color needs to be hash 212121. Then it looks like this. See, then the button active border needs to be double 4 pixels, hash FE53PB. Then background origin border box. Then background clip, content box, and border box. Then animation, I don't need any animations, done. So when I click this, the animation will not happen. It's not going to happening. It's going to be static. That's the thing. The glowing animation needs to be should be dropped. So the button active, the circle, background color, background needs to be hash fe53bb. Okay, this is all those animation stuffs which we have to create. So let's have a complete checklist. If you check it out over here, these are the color changes it's happening. You can see we have those color changes happening, and the stars animation is running, right? So we have the gradient border, we have the stars effect, and we have the glow effect, and we have the text styling, and we have the interactivity like the over and active styles. So all these things are being pretty much done in the exact same UI what we are up to build over here, right? So this is how you have to create this style.